Welcome to this episode of Talking with Success. Today I'm sitting with a longtime friend of mine. I'm so excited. I'm sitting and talking to Mona Bowman.
Yes, sir.
Government name is Andrea, but we call you Mona. Mona is my girl. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Mona has been doing a lot. Emmy-nominated hair designer, born and raised in Shreveport, Louisiana. Been in the game and film and everything for almost 20 years.
Yeah,
almost 20 years.
19 and a half.
19 and a half. So yeah, you worked on some projects, major projects like The Color Purple, Emancipation, Piano Lesson. That's just to name a few. Today we're going to talk about your amazing journey. Everything from Lil Mona to to Mona doing the things now.
You said that too, because that's sure they used to call me Lil Mona.
Lil Mona.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been?
I've been fine. Been great.
Great.
Be lifing, but you know, God is guiding.
All the time.
So,
We're gonna go to church here tonight.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, based on the conversations we've already had before we started recording, it's an inspiration. I've been watching your career just from the stuff that you post on social media, and I couldn't even put it into words how proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
I can't even take credit. That's to God be the glory. I just am a vessel that's happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
So when I reached out and you responded, I was like, man, I got to get there. We got to make this happen.
Yes,
So,
and I'm glad. Thank you for the invite. You never take it for granted. People don't have to open up their doors and opportunity, and I never take nothing lightly. From the biggest to the littlest to the sideways to the top, whatever, because it's an honor to be able to give and do what you do have the opportunity to do what we do.
I appreciate you for accepting. So let's get into it. How did Mona come to be?
How did I come to be?
How did Mona today? Where did it
The
start?
film hair designer?
Where did it start?
It started, my first journey into hair started in middle school.
Okay.
Ended up doing a haircut on my cousin that somebody messed up. Never wanted to do hair. Never thought about hair. Remember my own, because my hair wasn't right. My mom didn't know how to do my hair, but I was a praying little girl. Teach me how to do my hair. Teach me how to do my hair. My mom did not know how to do my hair, and he did. I always was an artist. I'm just a natural artist, so I always could draw. I could make pottery, all the things. My mom was a school teacher, so I was always really artistic. She would have me, I used to draw on the transparency on the board. I used to do her backdrops and stuff for the pictures and all that kind of stuff from back in the day. And so when it came to the hair, my first opportunity was just to help my cousin. But she had real long, beautiful hair. Remember Salt and Pepper with that stacked out bob and the tail in the back? She wanted that, and the lady just literally took her hair and cut around it, and she didn't have no stack, no nothing. It was horrible. She was just crying, and I was like, why are you crying? She was like, she messed my hair up, and this and that. She was like, I really wanted this hairstyle. And I was like, and I could see it. Because I'm an artist, and I build, and I can do things. I can see all they had to do is take it up and angle it out so you make it short, and then it stack up this long and it stack out. I said, I can do that. I can do that for you. Don't cry. I can fix it. And she said, okay. And I remember my grandma had just paid, I think, like $60. You know, back in the day, $60 was a lot.
Yes.
To get a haircut and blow it out and all the things. And my grandma was like, don't you mess her hair up? I was like, you just paid somebody to mess her hair up. Hello. And she's like, okay, you can have a chance. So I went and got some orange handle scissors.
I remember those.
On it out, cut it, curled it. Perfect. 2 days later, my sister come by. Who cut Tasha hair? I cut it. You cut it. There's a picture in this book. Can you cut this bob for me? Remember that wedge? They used to have that mushroom. They called it mushroom wedge.
Yes, I remember that.
And I said, I can cut it. Show me a picture. She showed me a picture. I said, okay. I cut it. And she had real thick hair. Had that little bang, had that little Chinese bang. Baby killed it. And she was working at Flying J out there in Greenwood.
Okay.
And she went out there to the truck stop, and the lady kept saying, who cut your hair? Who cut your hair? Who cut your hair? She was like my little sister.
So you had marketing going on as a kid.
As a kid. And she kept saying, my little sister, my little sister. And she was like, where your little sister work? And she was like, no, my little sister. And she was like, what you mean little sister? Like, she's young. She was like, I don't care. And her and her husband was coming from California, transporting. And she was like, I'll pay your sister $50. She cut my hair. She was like, wait a minute, I gotta call my mama. So she called my mama. Mama said, $50? Yeah, she can get $50. She can come by today. Hey, go get it. And I told my mom, I said, well, I need a curling iron. And back then they had a little small flat iron that just had just brought on the scene. I got that, and they taught me how to use Marcel's and stuff too because she bought the wrong thing. Okay. So I had to teach myself. But ended up cutting the lady hair, and that haircut led to another haircut that led to another haircut. You know, we had Fat Bob. I was doing everybody hair. I was doing everybody hair in the band, doing the majorettes, proms, all the things, just because most people's parents couldn't really afford it. But I was just that girl. You know, that girl that can catch on. You show me a picture, I can do it. And I did it because it was fun. Yeah. Just to see how it would change the morale. And then I ended up going to Wiley College in 91, and I was doing people hair in the dorm. And then this young lady I met named Donette, she was from Detroit. You know, Detroit back in the day was the hair capital of the world. Yes. Yeah. Baby, they could do 15 hairstyles in one head. And I remember she came to me, she was like, oh, I've been seeing your work. They said, Monica, she's like, let's talk. And I was like, what's up? And she's like, do you know how to do French rolls? You know how to do this? And I was like, no, I don't know, but you can show me. She said, because all these people here be wanting me to do their hair, and I be trying to do what I need to do. But I can't do everybody's. She said, so if you do the freshmen, I do the upperclassmen. So I'm going to show you. You just sit in here and watch me. So she let me sit, and I just sat and watched her, how she did French rolls, how she put tracks in. And I was just like, wow, didn't know that God was setting me up.
Definitely. I was just thinking that.
I whooped that hair and ended up getting pregnant with my second son, and I came back home, and I was just like, Lord, I know you showed me as a young child that I was going to be doing all this fabulousness. Don't look like it's fabulous now because I got 2 kids. I'm in the projects. I'm on welfare. This is not the end, and I know what you showed me. And I ended up going to a meeting, and you know, they'd be making you go through them different programs to report, to say that you tried to find a job, because they'd be trying to motivate you. And I was grateful for it because it was Darren Jackson that was over. TJ. He was over this particular program that they had us to go to. And I would never forget that he asked the question. And he said, have you ever sat down and thought about where you're going to be next year, in 3 years, and in 5 years? You have to have a plan. And I was like, I ain't never thought of that. I don't have a plan. And I remember leaving there that day, and I sat on, you know, a big hip-hop head. You know, we was some hip-hop junkies. And Eric B. and Rakim was my boss. Cool. Yes. And I was sitting on the thing, and my cousin, she stayed in the projects too, and she had 2 kids. And her mom had went through a lot. You know, the drugs hit Shreveport hard in the 80s, and her mama was one of those. So she had went through a lot. But she was good at doing hair too. And she came downstairs, and I was sitting on the end, and she said, what you doing, cuz? I said, another master plan. I'll never forget it. And we just laughed. And she said, cuz, I just thought about something. We go to beauty school. And I said, beauty school? And I was like, and the first thing hit my head is, wow, I can help her get out of the projects. This would be great.
So with everything that's going on, everything you did, your first thought was, how can I help her?
How can I help her? Because I knew that wasn't going to be my final. I knew projects wasn't my final stage. I just know this is where I was at that point. Okay. But I felt like for her, if she didn't get a skill or something, she was going to continue that cycle. Okay. And so I said, you know what, this would be great for her. And I knew my mom is supportive, my mama. And I said, you know what? I'm going to ask Mama to let me hold her car. Let's go go to the school. And it was Pat Goins on Hearn at that point.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Pat Goins on Hearn Avenue. So we went up there, and the lady said, yeah, we can do you a quick tour today, and we can talk about it. And I was like, man, oh, this is perfect. And I remember walking through the school, and I was like, wow, this is what they do. Oh, this cute. Because I had never had no training and never really sat around nobody except for Donette.
So at that point, were you still thinking, okay, I'm walking through, this would be nice for her?
Still the whole time.
Still hadn't clicked about you yet.
Still whole time. And I was like, man, she going to do good because I see she can do it. And I was like, she can teach me some stuff. And I was like, you know what, I might consider if we can be here. You know what, I should think about doing it because then I can make sure she can stay in and this and this. And so we just walking around. And then I said, God, what are you going to be? Because even if I did this for her, but because I never considered it. I just thought it would be just another tool in my tool belt. So I was like, yeah, that'd be cute to do because I can help her. But look, you ain't gave me no vision for her. So we go in the office with the lady, Miss Davis. She said, she was like, darling, that's how she used to talk. Darling, you know, saying all the stuff. Then she was just, the whole time she talking, it sounded like wah, 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 because I'm really ain't listening. I'm talking to God because I'm just like, Lord, I want to know something about me too. Yeah. And then she said, yeah, darling, you know, if you're a really good hairstylist, you can make up to $100,000 a year. When she said that, I said, really?
Bingo.
I said, excuse me? I said, 100 who the hunter? I said, in 1 year? I said, how long is this school? She said, a year.
Like, let's start today.
I said, wait a minute. Because I knew I was going to school for microbiology in college. And I was like, man, I still got 6 more years to go, bro. And I'm already at $35,000 in debt. I don't think I'm going to do that. Do y'all have programs? She was like, yeah, we have programs. We can help you. I was like, man, sign me up. So I signed her up. We signed me up. Started the next day. 2 weeks later, she quit. My cousin quit.
See.
2 weeks later.
Hearing that, when you hear that part, you know that was nothing but God.
That was nobody but God.
God himself to get you.
I'm thinking that I'm helping her.
Yeah.
Which she would have been. See, that's when they go back to choices. See, people don't understand about counting the cost.
Oh, yeah.
See, if she'd have counted the cost, she could have been along this ride as well. But she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She stopped because her intent wasn't that, but God used that whole scenario to bump me because I took the challenge.
Yeah.
I got there, went through the course, and then went through it the whole time. And then I got to the point where it was the last, I would say, month and a half. They had some infrastructure issues with the school. Some stuff went down, and money came up missing. So they had me and like 14 more girls. We had to stop. Or if we didn't have $3,000, we would have to stop because we couldn't get certified because the school money got tangled up.
Gotcha.
I cried. I slung every head they had on the floor. I'm like, if I had $3,000, I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here. Wouldn't need to be here.
Wouldn't need to be here. And I was just like, God, what is happening? Showed up every day. I did 15 to 20 heads every day in beauty school the whole time. And I'm saying all that because that's a reason too. When I tell you I was hurt and I stopped for 2 years, and I met my ex-husband, and my ex-husband was still not, but don't think I wasn't bootlegging. I was bootlegging. Baby, I was getting bigger and better in the city. People was knowing me because I was doing all the avant-garde stuff, all the things. But it always nagged me in the back of my head, man, because I don't like to start something finished. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, but they stole the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Kept saying that. And that's when Discover card came out. You know, you can do the credit and get the money exchange. And I remember meeting him. Me and him was good friends at that point. Then he was like, I just got this credit card. He's like, man, you do a lot of hair. You ever thought about going to school? And I told him the scenario. And his mom worked for banking.
Okay.
So he knew about the different types of things, the loans and all that stuff. He said, have you ever thought about going back, talk to the school about getting a loan or a forbearance? You pay them a little bit now and pay them. I said, no, I don't know what that is. He was like, you ain't trying. Let's go tomorrow.
That's another open door.
Hello.
Another door.
Went up there to the school. Guess what? They did it. But instead of being a month and a half, because I was out so long, they pushed it to 2.5 months.
Okay.
Which was more money. That, you know. So I said, I ain't finna do it. They ain't finna charge me that kind of money. He was like, Mona, you're in, sweetie.
Focus on
the fact that they did
long-term goal.
So you can be able to get your license.
Yes.
Calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what, you're right. I'm looking at the short term and that they wrong and all the things instead of seeing the fact that I'm in. Went back, knocked it out. As soon as I graduated, came back from Baton Rouge with my license. My mom said, you know, your auntie just opened a salon some months back. I said, no, didn't know because I was in my own little world. She said, yeah, her friend that she opened a salon with, been doing hair almost 18, 19 years, had a allergic reaction to relaxers and stuff. She's not going to do hair anymore. Wow. And she wanted to know if you want to come and work at the shop because she can't keep up with all these people. I'm so used to being in the kitchen. I was like, do I want to do that? I was so scared. And I called my auntie. I was like, yeah, I don't know what this booth renting thing is, but I wouldn't mind. Let's try it. She was like, please. I went there the next week. I ain't had my license a week. Went up there and I'm shaking, trembling with my little bag. I'm like, what is this?
But you already knew how to do it.
I know, but that's that.
You got it in your head. You got
it in my head. Yeah. And the first lady came in, and her name was Miss Kathleen. Bless her heart, this year she passed away. But she walked in the door and she said, yeah, Miss Mallett told me that you were here and that you can cut really well. But look at my head, and somebody had cut it down the middle of her head. She looked just like Bozo, and I just fell out laughing. You know, I'm dreadfully honest. Like,
yes.
How does this look? I said, you look like Bozo. And she said, I know. Can you fix it? I said, show me a picture. I can get you what you're looking for. Sliced her up. She worked at JCPenney, and she went back. Man, that woman flooded me with people. And she stayed with me up until I stopped. Yep.
Wow.
And that's how my journey started. And I worked at my aunt's salon for 12 years, Beauties on Pines Road, and then God shifted me when my auntie took it to her house. I wasn't ready to do the house stuff. And I ended up meeting a cousin that I didn't know of my cousin.
Okay.
On Lakeshore, and then that's when I ended up at Blessed Hands, and I finished my career out at Blessed Hands.
Blessed Hands. So you've done work on a lot of people then. Yeah. Shreveport is not that big. And when you're good at your craft, word of mouth is the best marketing tool.
Always,
so
and
I'm pretty
never
sure
did it.
You probably touch, I'm just going to throw the number out there, you probably touch 40-50% of the clients that came through Shreveport.
If I did the auntie, the sister, the cousin, if I did one, the family's coming.
Family coming back.
And they never left. I was very blessed and fortunate because I had the background in microbiology. I was big in chemistry, and the chemistry part, a lot of people don't realize a lot of chemistry is in doing hair.
Yes.
So when it came to the chemicals, I understood the pH balances and all the things, so I knew how to grow people's hair without damaging. Okay. So when you know healthy hair and how to take care and what about the moisture and the porosity and all the different things, people came because the hair was the proof that not only that I gave you a good style, but your scalp and your hair was taken care of.
Yeah. So it's more than just right now doing a hairstyle. It was more maintaining
maintenance, because that's the part that I'm part of why I might be doing my little thing, because it's an epidemic now when it comes to natural hair care. It's like people are doing so much stuff, because I didn't know that people don't wash, not wash because they get bad, that's old school, shampoo people's hair anymore before they get service. I'm like, how do you know the integrity of the hair? You're compromising not only their hair, but yourself. Yeah. Because you can put yourself in a position to where what if the hair reacts in a way that you didn't know, that they put a bleach on it yesterday, and it back black, then you go and you put something on it, and it's really their breakdown. But how would you know? The only way you're going to know if you get that hair in that water, and that water will show you if the porosity is low, if it had been damaged, if somebody didn't put a fake color on it because it's going to slide out. You're protecting yourself.
I never even thought about it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, as you can see, I don't have to worry about that, but, you know.
You have to know what's going on with a person's scalp, get the basis of what type of diet they're on, all the things, but people are not doing it now. Everybody wants styles now. Yeah. And this is why it's the plight of black hair care, is what I'm seeing now.
How has that industry changed with more and more nowadays? I'm seeing even at younger ages, wearing wigs and that type of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I ain't hating on nobody. Hey, you do your thing. Whatever makes you feel good.
Well, bless your heart, because I'm sick of them. I'm so sick of the wig epidemic. I just really hate that they open up that floodgate for these babies to have access to these wigs, because so many people are experiencing so much damage to not just their hair, their scalp is being compromised. It's a lot of those girls. That's why when they were like, oh, it's a smell on your hair, they're developing fungus. Where do bacteria grow? Dark, wet places. Even Shreveport in the summer.
It's hot. It's humid.
And you sweating.
Yeah.
And you got on this dark wig that's tight to your head. Guess what it's doing? It's cooking.
And then,
And then you wonder why.
Then later, think about it, of course, when you take it off, you just put a new one back on.
But the thing of it is, then they're telling these girls that you can keep it on for 2 or 3 weeks. All of them ain't taking them off at night. If you take it off at night, it's not as bad.
And it doesn't take mold long to grow.
And then you wonder why it's a scent. Then you wonder why your scalp is having issues. You wonder why 5 years later that you're thinning. You wonder why you're having permanent damage. But what the biggest thing for me, because even with the TV and film, when I do TV and film, I don't use a lot of glue. I always learn techniques and prayed about techniques to do to where when I'm using any type of glue, it's the bare minimum. Okay. Because guess what a glue is? Glue is an adhesive, which is a chemical. Do you not notice these girls?
Y'all getting education.
Okay, these girls are doing this stuff on their head every day. Now they're noticing not only if their edges are leaving, the melanin in their skin is leaving. Yes. Because it's not made to be on when you're applying something every day, guess what you're doing? You're feeding, and guess what our biggest organ is? Our skin. So you're putting poison in your system, and you wonder why you're having issues. You're not supposed to apply that stuff, and they're going to tell you because they're selling their product. Oh, it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. But you know what's even more fine? Not putting it on every day. That's the best way.
I agree.
But, you know, they started this wig thing, and it's just made people lazy and they're not taking care of their hair, the integrity of their hair, the integrity of their scalp, the long-term damage, the long-term productivity of being able to take care of your hair. It's a big shift, and I don't like it at all. It has its place, but for me, ain't nothing like having your own hair where its scalp is out, putting pieces in, doing whatever. Because, baby, I love braids too. That's why I was loving the companies now that ain't using the hair that is toxic as well. Because there's a lot of companies that don't take care of the hair that they put out, but they're brands now, and that's those that I push, because you can add the extensions and all the things, but the more you can be able to have access to your scalp and your own natural hair, it's a no-brainer, because it's going to make a difference in the long term.
And once the hair is gone, it ain't coming back.
Yeah, and that's the part that a lot of people are not telling people, that you can get permanent damage. And sometimes they don't come back. And I learned the hard way myself, because I was like thick hair, all the things. And I would put tracks in and rip it out with the glue. And I'm like, girl, it'll go back. And it did, till it didn't. Till it didn't. And then I had tractional alopecia from the extensions. And it took my hair almost a year to fill back in. And I said, okay, I know better. And that's the part, because I knew better. I would never do that to my client. My clients knew. They used to be so mad. Why you want that? And I was like, nah, I love you too much. They be like, but you snatch yours in now? I'm like, I'm grown. Leave me alone. You just mind your business. You listen to mama.
That's a fact.
You just listen to mama and do what mama say. Don't you worry about what mama do. But I had to learn the hard way, and I changed that up, because I realized, because even now, as in my 50s now, going through menopause, it's even a bigger shift. So even learning the dynamic of how important food is, and how it plays with exercise and drinking the water and having filtered water and all the different things, understanding that is a shift as well. So it's a level of things that a lot of people don't realize. Even with men, as you get older and your body changes and your hormones change and your diet and all this, it affects your hair too. Heredity does too. Yeah. But a lot of people don't tell people, because most of the time they don't know, because people just want, just give me a haircut, just give me a style. And then most of them are not telling, because they don't have time, especially if you're going to a good one. They're trying to get you in and out. It's having that foundational background to be able to give people information so they can make themselves better as well. Yes. I used to tell my clients all the time when I was in the salon, I want your hair. If you came to me once a week, that's 4 times out of a month. You with your head 31 days, 24/7, all the time.
Right.
So who needs to know more information, me or them? I need to make sure that they know just as much as I know. So I would make sure that my clients understood. I used to do little mini trainings for them to understand. So when I did start TV and film, they can be able to wing it, or they can come in and, support one of my coworkers. I had people lined up like that. They couldn't do the chemicals or the extensions, but they could do the basic maintenance, shampooing them and taking care of them for me. And I trusted certain ones that I knew, like my cousin that owned the shop, because she's an amazing hairstylist. She just retired herself. Hey, Tanya. Just having that kind of thing set in place once I did shift, because I got introduced to TV and film while I was working at Blessed Hands in 2007.
How did that happen?
And actually, I met a person at my pastor's house.
Really?
Met a guy, because I was interested in it, because my cousin Crystal, hey Crystal, she had started singing and performing, and that's when Master P and I alum, the
No Limit.
Yeah, they started. I got the hookup and all the different things, and all the rappers in the South was getting money and was saying, okay, we finna tap into this film thing. They was making a lot of little low budget ones and small indie films and stuff. And by her association, because I made her go get a license too, because I was like, look, you gonna do this hair thing, you can always make some money, quick money if you need to, because she had a knack too. Something about my family, we good with our hands, and I knew she could do it, but she could sing and stuff. So she ventured off. She's in her 20s, she doing her thing, and she was like, came home for Thanksgiving in 2006, and she was like, I did this little low budget film with them, Cain and Abel now, like, it's cool, you would be great, because I knew you was a performer, you always wanted to do, because we all modeled and stuff together, and we did plays and all that kind of stuff. She's like, man, it would be great to create. And I was like, yeah, that's cute. How much do you make?
Yeah.
I said, because I'm divorced. I have 3 children. I have a mortgage. I have a car note. I have insurance to pay. I have all the things.
No matter how cute it is. If
That's
it's
true. But I'm trying to see how much money you make. And she was like, well, the smaller ones are like $20. I said, girl, bless your heart. I said, do you know how much my haircuts are? And I can do 3 haircuts in an hour and 15 minutes. I said, girl, I'm charging $80 a haircut. Do the math. I said, I'm a math girl. And she was like, well, I promise you, it's just different. And while I'm telling her that, the Holy Spirit told me just as clear as I'm talking to you, don't knock that. And I said, that's weird. And I said, you know what, cuz? You're right. Let me not knock that. I said, if this is for me, God would meet or beat what I make. And I said, let's stand in agreement. And we agreed and we prayed and she said, let's go. I said, if they have another opportunity, let me know. I'll see. 2 weeks later, she called me. She said, man, I can't go to the one in New Orleans. We in Houston. Can you go to New Orleans for a couple of days? And I was like, how much is making? $250 a day, but they'll put you up. And I was like, but there was so much going on in real life. I just need to get out of Shreveport. And I was like,
so you went for a break?
Yeah. I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I tell them I'll do the 2 days. They're going to pay, give me my gas. They're going to pay me per diem. Fine, let's go. That'll be time for me to drive and pray. So I just need to get away. And as I'm driving, I mentored a lady that was helping me with my son, Miss Bobby. Hey, Miss B, she says, oh, call Pastor and tell Pastor that you about to go down there. You're not married no more. He's your covering. Having to pray for him. I said, you know what? You're right. Let me call Pastor. I called Pastor Gant. Shout out to my pastor. And Pastor, hello, how you doing? You know, he got that deep voice. And he was like, yeah, I pray for you. Congratulations. And all the things. He prayed, got down there, did the job. It was with Keisha Knight Pluvium. It was a pilot for a TV show. Didn't know what that meant at that point. But a pilot is the first episode for them to pitch. I didn't know, and I was just happy. So I was like, just happy to be there. So I did Darius McCraney off of, with Urkel Nim and Keisha and the young girl off of Saved by the Bell. And I was just like, wow, I'm in the room. I'm doing these folks' hair. And I was just so excited. So everything went well. I'm driving back home, and I was just like, Lord, if I don't ever get a chance to do it, at least I can say this is cute. Because I love TV. Everybody knew I've been a big fan of TV since I was 3 years old. Okay. And things that most people didn't pay attention to, I could tell angles and all the things. And I was like, girl, you really... So it was in you at that time. It was already in me, because God showed me, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, a vivid thing of me being on the screen. Okay. And I thought maybe it was just a dream of mine, but I knew there was more to it, more depth to it, because it was so real.
And it kept coming back.
And it kept coming back. Yeah. And so when I got back home, fast forward, working, doing the things, next thing I know, it's Easter. You know, when I called Pastor, that was in December of 2006. Fast forward Easter, so that's April 2007. I get a call from Pastor, from Miss Gant, and Miss Gant said, hey, Mo, we got some people up here that's doing TV and film, and the man said he would like to talk to you. Pastor told him, he was asking, did he know any hairstyling, and he said, I got the best one to go to my church.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, she good, and she probably gonna come up here. They didn't know I did like 40 people that weekend. I was tired. I was like, I ain't going to nobody's house. I'm going home. I done did sunrise service. I did 8 o'clock. I done did 10 o'clock. I done did 12 o'clock. I clocked out. I'm tired.
Done.
I'm going home.
Done.
So she said that, and I was like, yeah, I'm coming. Okay. And I hung up the phone. I hung up my cell phone, and I was like, I am not going. I'm going home. She had to catch me later. Bless their heart. I don't care about nothing. But my son, Chris, was in the car. And when he heard me say it, he said, Mama, aren't you the one that talk about opportunities?
Oh, he checked you.
Checked me.
He checked you. Okay.
There was nobody but God.
Good job, Chris.
Because I am the type of mother that if I say it and if I give my word to you, I'm coming. I'm a woman of my word. So I'm saying to myself, I don't go. This boy is going to throw this up at a time that I'm okay. Took him home, got back, and I remember I was driving to Pastor. I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. I'm so sleepy. And I got there, got out. The guy came up, Ken Walker, rest in peace to Mr. Ken. He was one of the first in the unions and all the things. He worked with them. Everybody, that's everybody. Mr. Ken had worked on all of those films. And he's that guy. And didn't know I was sitting in the presence of Hood's finest when it come to hair design. God had them sent one of the gurus to Shreveport and allowed our paths to cross. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and he was like, yeah. He was just so, hi, darling. And I was like, oh, this man is so nice to talk to. And he seemed like cotton candy. That's how I kept saying to myself, he just reminded me of cotton candy because he was so sweet. And then he stopped me. He was like, you know what? He said, you the one. I said, the one of what?
The one of what?
And he said, have you ever had a chance, an opportunity when you know somebody's the one? I said, no, Miss Ken. I said, no. Folk got to show me because I know niggas would lie. They would lie. I said, I like for folk to show me a little something. He said, no, you're the one. I know you're the one. He said, you want to work on this job that I got company? And I said, I sure do.
But how much is going to pay?
No, I ain't gonna say that. Because I know he was doing the real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, okay.
So I ain't care. I was like, you doing the movies. And I said, okay. I gave him my information. He was like, call me. But if I don't answer, leave a message. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know how TV and film work. You can't have your phones on and all that. So I called him. I said, I ain't going to blow him up. I'm going to call. He don't answer. I left a message. Waited a couple weeks. Called again. He didn't answer. And I said, you know what? That's my rule of thumb. I do things in threes. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to call one more time, Lord. And I said, I said, he did not have to tell me to call him, and he was going to let me work on this show. He was just trying to eat my passive food. I said, he's wrong for that. I said, but it's okay. Thank you for the other opportunity. I'm good. I'm going to call, though. Call. His phone went straight to voicemail. I was mad then. I thought, oh, he lied. But as soon as I hung up the phone, voice message. Guess what? He was calling me at the same time. He left a voice message. I heard him. He said, hi, this is Ken Walker. Want to give me a call back? I did get your messages. I want to know if you were available. I broke my neck. Hi, Mr. Ken. Didn't try to act like I was mad at him. Hi, Mr. Ken. How you doing? And he offered me the job, and he was like, I'm so sorry. We've been busy. I've been juggling 2 shows. I got one. The one that I got that's coming hadn't started yet, but I'm on one now. You know, all that. And I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, but I really want you to work. I want you to come out and work with me. And I was like, cool. So I hung up the phone. He was like, give me your email. Gave my email. I remember driving to the shop, and I was like, I got a job. And he called back, and I was like, oh, God, is he finna tell me I can't come? You thinking something wrong? I was like, oh, well. And I was like, hello? And he's like, hey. He said, I know you don't have that much experience. I remember your pastor telling me that you had that one experience.
Yeah. That one that you almost didn't go.
Yes. And he had told him that I think she did something in New Orleans that time. Remember that prayer? Brought it back to his memory. And that's how that door opened. And he ended up inviting me to another show so I can get more experience before I went on the big show, the full-time show. And the first show that I ever walked on that was Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins.
Really?
Yes.
Martin Lawrence.
Mike Epps, Cedric the Entertainer, all of them, yeah, and James Earl Jones.
So,
all of them.
That's mind-blowing to go from, it had been, what you said, November?
It was December.
2006.
And it's to Easter of April 2007.
You, in less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
You went from, oh, that's cute. That's cute. I need money to pay bills to God saying, hey, I'm going to put people in your path.
The shifted. Didn't even know he had shifted, blocked, and set up, and it was already happening.
And I think the fascinating thing for me is when you talk about that, what resonates with me is you said God gave you a vision when you were a kid, and it kept coming back. And then fast forward, now you've done some things, and you get to a point to where you have an opportunity, but you don't recognize it yet. Mm-hmm. And you almost shut it down.
Shut it down.
In that moment, you said the Holy Spirit spoke to you and was like, hey, don't knock that.
Don't knock it. Speak. Do
you realize the fact that you were obedient?
Yeah.
Is what allowed all of that to flow.
Exactly. Listening.
Because you could have easily just said, I know the Holy Spirit said, but
tap that room because you know we can quench the spirit.
Oh, yeah. But especially when we get caught up in the right now.
Yes.
You know, and that, you got to think about it. Let's be realistic. It would have been easy to say, well, look, I got all these obligations and responsibilities right here. Mm-hmm. I know this is what I got to bring in. And what happens a lot of times is people, especially, hey, I know what's guaranteed right here on this job that I'm on. Even though this ain't part of the vision that God gave me, but hey, I need to focus on, I know I got the check coming in.
Especially a vision that I never thought that could possibly happen coming from a small place that I was from.
Yes.
That's even more so.
Coming from Shreveport, our hometown, it's crazy now when you look back, there's so much talent.
Oh, Oh my God. There's always been talent.
And I think what happened, I can say it from my perspective, is over the years, a lot of people either got taken advantage of by dealing with the wrong people, or got too afraid to step out
That's another part,
take full advantage of opportunities. Mm-hmm. And it could be from, you know, I call them well-meaners, where you have people around you that they're so afraid to step out that you have to be quiet when it comes to your vision. You can't necessarily share your vision with everybody because some people will kill it. They'll kill your spirit just based off of, oh, that sound good. Like you said, oh, that's cute. But yeah, come on now. You know, and so
that really don't happen.
You have to
mindful.
Yeah, you have to have that discernment to know when and who to share that vision with. Yeah, you wanna share your vision with people that are gonna nurture it and water your vision so it'll grow. And it's crazy for me to see how your journey has progressed and all the stuff.
Because I was just telling a friend of mine the other day that I still, being in all the different opportunities that I did over all these years, it didn't resonate to me until like 4 or 5 years ago that I had started another career. Because I always seen it as just an opportunity. It was another opportunity. Okay. It was another opportunity. It was just another opportunity. I didn't even realize that God had put me in another career because I had already did 20 years in a salon. And I was, even in that salon walk, I always had told God, I was like, Lord, I know that you gave me this because I prayed as a young woman before I had children, because I seen my mother work hard and 2 or 3 jobs sometimes. I said, I want one job to take care of my family. And when he gave me that, and I seen that I started making money when I started doing hair, that's when I latched on. I was like, this is that one job, and I'm able to take care of my family. So I was like, this is it. This is cute. I'm here. But didn't realize that even in the shifting, until I accepted and being, like you said, obedient to that vision still has a placement in my life, that when he showed me that, he wasn't just showing me that to show me that. Because my blessing is still connected to your blessing too, because we're all connected. Exactly. Even though people think we're so different and all the things. No, there are things that you're assigned to, because just like with Mr. Ken opened the door for so many people, come to find out as I progressed in this industry, and they were like, yeah, Ken gave me my first time. Ken gave me my first time. I was like, wow, he was a seed sower. You know what I'm saying? He was able to open those doors for people to be able to get in these positions to be able to shine that never knew. And then when I remember being on my first big one, which the one that he hired me for was the Great Debaters, I remember being so scared because I didn't even understand the set lingo and all that. And that's why I'm producing and develop trainings and stuff now for the city for different people, you know, now. But I remember just being there just scared. And I remember my first day on set by myself, and I was just blinking, and I see Denzel walking across the parking lot, and I was like having that moment. I was just like, well, I don't want to embarrass myself. Like, I ain't.
Start questioning.
I was like, am I supposed to be here? I was like, what is happening? Because I don't know nothing. And Lord, like, this is going too fast. You supposed to give me a playbook, or what's going on? Then here come Forrest Whitaker come in, and I was just like, Lord, this Forrest Whitaker standing right there. Lord, I'm having a whole moment. I'm going to get embarrassed. Like, I kept saying, this ain't going to work. I remember coming out of the trailer, and I stood by the trailer, and I had my keys in one hand, and I had my set bag in the other hand, and I just kept looking. And I was like, I ain't really got to do this. And I said, God, why would you send me here unprepared?
He's like, unprepared.
And he said, the choice is up to you. And I said, oh, God. I said, why would you send me here if I wasn't? And it was like he was saying, you think I'm going to send you there if you wasn't? But you have to choose. And I looked at my car, and my car was right there. I looked at my key, looked at my car, looked at my key, looked at my car. And I said, people get their left leg to be in this position.
Yes.
And you worried about being embarrassed.
Yes.
If God done brought you to it, he going to bring you through it. So I politely slid my little keys back in my little bag, went back into the trailer. Denzel walked in, he walked over there, everybody, he shook my hand, and I was just like, he was like, what's your name? I said, Mona. And he was like, walked out, and he was like, you okay? And I was like, yes, sir. But I'm saying to myself, man, no, I just shrieked, is you crazy? No, I'm not. And I was just like, wow, I'm really here. I'm in Hollywood, but Hollywood wasn't in Hollywood. So that's was the part that I couldn't phantom and switch out. So I thought it was just things was just God was just allowing me to do. But when I got to like the midway of shooting Great Debaters, and I had a whole spiritual moment, And that's when God showed me my gift of evangelism, and that he placed me in TV and film to bring light to a dark place.
Yes.
And I was just like, what? And remember I was telling you about how it played, and I was doing 15, 20 people in beauty school. He played that day when he revealed that to me. He played my life from a child all the way up into that moment in like I could see it all. He said, I've been preparing you for this.
The whole time.
This whole time.
Before you even born.
Before he was even born. Look, I'm about to get crying because it was beautiful that I seen that I could see it just as clear as I'm talking to you. And I remember standing there, I was just like, wow, let go. And I said, it's on. And when he showed me that, I was just like, let's do it. And I ain't looked back, and it was on. That fire was lit. And I just knew then it was about allowing myself to learn and to develop and paying attention and being mindful and hearing his voice.
Yes.
So I can know how to navigate, because I didn't know all the set lingo. I didn't know how this worked or what this department did. I was just watching and I was studying.
Became a sponge.
And, okay, note to self. Nope, not to do that. Okay. Yeah. Do that. Oh, that's what that worked. And I would ask questions for the ones that were nice. You know, why y'all plug it up? What is that for? And they, this is what that is. Yeah, if you want to know this, go ask this department. If you want, I learned. It was literally boot camp. It was a boot camp for me, and it was just how all the people that he placed there, because I ended up getting in the union from Matiki, makeup artist, and she just seen, and she just took a liking to me, and she just like, Mama, you work hard. She's like, we can tell you was green because there were certain things you didn't do, but the styling and your personality and your drive, man, you would be great to be a part of our union. I was like, what is the union? What is this? Yeah. I didn't know what that was either. And she's like, we want to really get these talented people, because I ended up not only God blessing me, I brought my whole team at the salon to work on set. When we had big days, teaching them on the weekends how to make the buns and how to develop the hairstyles, because it was a period film. It was in the 1930s. Okay. And we didn't have these nice phones back then. You know, our phones, you had to pay for every text message. Yep. Had to pay for every picture. Well, I worried about a minute. Oh, you understand me? So I went to old school library, and because me loving TV and being in theater stuff and all the things, I knew it was a whole character thing. So I had a basic concept. So I went to the library and I said, you know what, if I get pictures,
take it back to when you started. If I get the pictures, I can see it, I can do it.
Of the 1930s, Caucasian, African American, Asian, that was in Louisiana. Didn't even know I was doing character development. It had no idea that I was already doing it. And the first day I was on set, I was so scared. That's why I was telling you, I was crying. And I went to set and I didn't know nothing. And he was like, go cover Forrest Whitaker. And I was like, cover? What does that mean? Put a piece of blanket on?
Put a blanket on.
Like, cover? But that means to watch the actor, to make sure that they look the same. But the blessed part about Forrest, he was bald. So
I have nothing to do.
But we still have to report and be there if anything, because it was a little girl once that was in the scene with him, so I had to watch her too. And coming from a salon world, you know, you make people perfect. And coming into the film and TV, you're creating character. So you have to get the backstory of all the things. Okay. Didn't know that. So I'm snatched. I done pressed out, snatched her, had her curls, all the things. She looked like the picture. But Denzel came in and he was like, who did her hair? And I was like, oh, Lord, I'm finna get fired. And he was like, in 1930s, her daddy didn't make much money. They in Marshall, Texas. Her hair was not going to be perfect. He was like, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
But it's wrong.
It don't fit the period. Okay. I needed to fit the character. So I got my water bottle sprayed so it can revert the edges. Mm-hmm. Took them to sweet, put in that bun, took them curls out and all that. He said, yeah, let's do it. But leading up before that I was so scared, and it was nobody but God. That's why you have to just trust the process. Mm-hmm. Because when I got there, the Holy Spirit had to tell Forrest Whitaker that I had never worked on set. Because he pulled me over and he said, are you okay? I said, yes, sir. He's like, is this your first time? I was like, yes, sir. I don't know what I'm doing. And he literally stopped and broke how set worked down for me in that little moment. And I was just sitting there listening to him.
You learned.
Yes.
You learned from Forrest Whitaker
and Denzel Washington. I learned character development from Denzel, and I learned how the set concept worked and they sparked the fire in me then, and that's what I'm still doing now to other people. I know over 18 people in the union since I've been, and that's not normal, because normally it takes years for one person to get in.
I was just sitting there thinking to myself as you're saying this, I'm like, do you understand what you just said? You learn how to work on a set from Denzel Washington and Forrest Whitaker. Those people go their entire life and career without even having an opportunity to sit and have a conversation with you.
Exactly. And I didn't think that I was going to full circle with either one of them. Because like I told you, I thought it was a fluke.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a one-hit wonder, and this was the opportunity. And I was happy about it.
So you're going to pour everything into that one opportunity.
And I will always tell people the story. They ask me how I got in. I always tell them about Forrest. And I was like, man, I would love to work with Forrest Whitaker again so I can tell them. And guess what? I did, on respect. Full circle moment, on respect. I was able to
Was that a climax moment? Was that a tissue moment?
And he was like, I'm just so glad. But let me tell you, before that, I didn't meet him again until Respect, and that was in Atlanta. But it was on this smaller film with an actress that is real good friends with him. And I was just telling her story. She was like, there's just something about you. You're just different. She just would tell me everything, and she was just asking me my journey, and I was telling her, I said, because she's like, what actor would you love to work with again? I said, Forrest Whitaker. She's like, why? And I told her what happened. I said, because I really don't know if he knew how much he poured into my life, because he took the fear. I said, God used him to take the fear out of me and pour it into me, especially being that caliber of an actor. They don't do that. They would tell the people, don't let her touch me because she don't know what she's doing, or she don't want her energy around me. She freaking me out. But he didn't. He embraced me, and he could see. But years later, I realized that Forrest had started his own production things and all that, and they are really that type of family-oriented company that teaches and works with indie workers and all that. Big as he was, I didn't know none of that. And so when I was telling her about it, I'm seeing her texting. Didn't know she was texting him.
The whole time.
And she crying because she was like, you need to put this in a movie because this is amazing. And I was like, so one day, I don't know. And then he hit her back and told her, you tell that young lady to stick to the plan and stay on this journey. Yeah. It is a beautiful journey. Never thought I would see him again. I was like, what would be the odds? Years later, I ran right back into him. And then when I told him who I was, he said, I do remember you. And I was like, because he's very quiet and he's a method actor. If y'all don't know what method is, that's an actor that really take on the persona of the character. Okay. And so he's very smart, he's a very solemn man, very laid back. He's funny, but he just be chilling and he just be in his own. And so I was like, I don't want to go up to him and tell this man all this. And one day it presented itself, and I just told him, he was like, man, I'm just so happy you stuck to it. He's like, how many years ago? I was like, man, that was years ago. I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm still in. And he was like, man, and you just working yourself up? I said, yeah. He was like, I'm so proud of you, and just stay to the cause.
It's crazy because when you think about the fact that you go from standing outside the trailer and thinking about, I'm about to get in my car and leave because I can't do this. And what a lot of people forget is everybody, when you get to a certain level, there was a first day for something for everybody. Everybody's gonna have a first day.
You are right.
And that's the biggest thing is, the blessing is you didn't allow yourself to listen to that voice telling you, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I need to leave. Yeah. And there was nobody around you to pour that negative into you and be like, girl, you can't do this. Yeah. And God saw what you needed in that moment.
Yes, he did.
He sent the right people to speak to you and say, hey, you got this. I wouldn't put you here if
you wasn't ready. And I faced some obstacles because the people that was working on our team, they was not happy that I was there. They was very mean, and I was very adamant. And I was just like, I remember Mr. Ken pulling me to the side. He said, don't you let nobody, that makeup people just flat out lied on me. Was saying I was doing something. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know how this works. How can I even did something? They didn't know Mr. Ken had got on set because he was just watching, because that was my first show was Roscoe Jenkins. So he knew that I didn't know.
He wanted to make sure.
But he was just trying to see if I knew how I would navigate on my own. They didn't know he was on set. So he was watching the whole time, and they flat out lied to him, and he knew it. He didn't even tell them that he knew that they were lying.
But they didn't realize that he was the one that chose you from the beginning.
They did not know none of that. And they thought I was trying to do all kinds of stuff. Just flat out lie. It was just trying to get me fired.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ken loved Mr. Ken, baby, because he pulled him to the side and he said, do y'all know Mona? And they was like, yeah, hey. You know, people can't make eye contact with you. He kept saying, yeah. He was like, yeah, I hired her. I brought her here. But I just want y'all to know that she was doing what she was told. And I was here the whole time. When they seen it, they were like, oh. They were like, so if you have any other complaints, make sure you come to me. You don't have to talk about Mona. And it was so funny. And Mr. Ken pulled me aside. He said, I just want you to know, you stay to the plan.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to tell you now, people are not going to like you because you're talented, because you're confident, because you're strong-willed. He said, I'm telling you now, they're not going to, some people you're going to ruffle their feathers. He said, but don't let that stop you. And I never forgot that.
And the other thing, too, is for people that even don't know you, the spirit is all over you. It's all over. And those people, whoever they are, were put in position to try to stop your journey before it gets started. The easiest way to stop momentum is never let it get started.
Exactly. But they couldn't because, baby, I was spoiled. I was like, I done gave my word. No, God done got me here. I'm not finna, I ain't finna let you or nobody. Really got T.I. mentality. I was like, get on your job. Like, every time they try to come at me, I was like, oh, okay. So that means I need to be 2 steps ahead of y'all because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So I need to just navigate in a way where I know I'm positioned to where whatever you say, you're going to show your hand, not me.
Yeah.
And it did. It blew up in their face.
Yeah, I mean, because let's be real, fake can only last for so long.
So long.
It can only last for so long. And the thing about it, when you fake, you got to be perfect. You got to be perfect every day.
Yeah, you got to remember.
You know, real, you can just be yourself.
You just be you. And I'm still to this day always unapologetically me. Before it was a whole thing to be you. I've always been me. I've always been that person that accepted my flaws and all. I love me. Because my mom taught me young that God didn't make carbon copies. He made priceless originals. So when she told me that, I was like, so you mean to tell me out of all the 5 billion people on earth, I try to self-sabotage me, but I know it's not for me. I remind myself again, God made me in his image. So what are you talking about? You are qualified. You are enough. You are the things, because them spirits, be trying to tell you to believe this and believe that, but, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, so you have to be mindful that be triggers and things, and people are, as I was telling the little young girl there yesterday, I was like, y'all have to see this movie called Falling. This is an ocular demonstration of how, I said, a lot of people don't believe in the spiritual realm of things. I said, but it's just because you don't believe in something don't mean it ain't real.
True.
Until you have your own encounters. Yeah. I said, I can't force it down your throat, but I'm just going to tell you it's real.
Yep.
I said, you want to see an ocular demonstration? Go see that movie. I said, it can show you how things can be taken and people don't even know why they do some things, why they do, and then they jump out you and you left with the repercussions of things. And so and it works the other way as well. When the Holy Spirit get inside of you and you allow it to bring out the best of your qualities of things, it's contagious too.
Yes.
And it can motivate, it can draw. And so that's why I walk in the walk that I walk and do the things that I do, because it's not me. I love that people say, oh, I'm so proud of you. Love that. But I have to give God glory first, because I know I'm just a vessel, and I'm just happy to be on his journey for my life, because I'm not my own. And I'm just grateful that he trusts me enough to stand in these dark places, because a lot of times people are willing to sell things and do things. They don't have to, or allow themselves to be caught up in things, and they don't have to, because you are enough. And you're not falling to this man-made what your success and what your worth is. Because money is a piece of paper. Fame comes with its consequences. Success comes with its consequences. Are you going to count the cost? That's what scripture have you count the cost. So counting the cost of what value your life is going to be in this world, that's the part that matters to me. Being that God blessed me to be a mother, what type of mother would I want to be? Being that God made me a sister, what type of sister can I be? Being God gave me friends, what kind of friends would I be? I'm always living my life to where I can be a blessing to people that God have assigned me to. And if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm okay when you walk away too, even when we have had relationships. And because I've learned reasons and seasons over life as well, because everybody can't go with you.
Yeah.
And even though you want them to sometimes, but they will sabotage things or you're right, Holy Spirit. The way God showed it to me years ago. I don't know if you remember that game that you just put, it was a timer, and you used to put the shapes into the...
Oh, yeah, was it Operation?
Not Operation. It's another one. It pop up. And it was... And
okay, yeah, I can't think of the name, but I know what you're talking about.
It was like a yellowish looking color. And he's like, you know how you try to put a square in a triangle? He said, if you force a square into a triangle, the ends are going to break. Something is going to be broken. He said, that's why you have to understand there's certain positions for certain things. So if you have a square, let it be a square. If you have a triangle, let the triangle go where the triangle go. Because if you don't, something's going to be broken. So when you start bringing people with you that's not supposed to be there, you're forcing a square and a triangle.
Absolutely.
And I had to understand that. And I used to be crying. I felt like Abraham and Lot, when Lot went with Abraham and God didn't tell him, and then he had to let him go. And then that's when they started Sodom and Gomorrah, and then he went and did what he had to do. And then he got to go back and save them because it hadn't turned into this corrupt world, which shows that if you're not careful, you can put people in a worse situation than bringing them.
Absolutely.
Even though you had good intent.
You had good intentions.
Because they're not where they're supposed to be.
And that's the thing, as humans, we want to try to bring people with us that we care about, and hey, I want you to be able to experience this life too. But I learned a long time ago, and I've been saying this, I tell people, two people going in opposite directions shouldn't ride together. If you're trying to go north and I'm trying to go south, why are we in the same vehicle? Both of us going to be mad.
Yeah.
Because if we go in the direction I want to go, you're going to be mad because you don't want to go that direction. I'm going to get frustrated because the whole time you're complaining about why we go in that direction instead of the direction you want.
And you're going to miss your destination.
Exactly. So it's best to pull over.
And you go your way,
I go my way.
and I go my way. And that's how this journey has, because even with the opportunities of the jobs, like I remember I had an opportunity here, I think it was like my third job, and I tried to go after it. Like, because everybody said, you got to network. You want more jobs. You got to do this and got to do that. And God didn't tell me to network.
Okay.
He never did. But I did it. Got a job. But I had a horrible experience.
Really?
I got disrespected so bad in a way with racism right out the front. And I was like, so hurt. I remember going to the car after it happened. And I was just like, what is this, God? Like, if this industry is this what this is, this ain't for me because you made your child.
God was like, I ain't seen you that.
I was slapped.
That's what I was thinking. The moment I remember.
I said, I'm going to go to jail, Lord. Like, I'm really going to go to jail. Like, I really want to do her something. Like, I really want to bust her head to the white meat. I was so hurt. I was so hurt because she talking about you people. I had never heard nobody say no you people in my life. I sparred. I had just went. I said, well, Lord, this ain't going to go good. And I was like, and I know you brought me here. I don't want to embarrass you, but I don't know if this for me. Just as clear as I'm talking, he said, I didn't tell you.
That one was you. Yeah.
He said, you did that. I said, I said, so you mean to tell me I brought this on myself? Pretty much.
It was a learning experience.
And it was a learning experience. And even up until now, if I don't hear his voice, I just wait it out. Because what I've learned that where I need to be, he's going to make sure that.
It's funny you say that because I was going to ask, like, how do you determine what projects you're going to take on? But you don't have to determine.
I don't
have to determine
nothing.
If God sent it to you.
You
just have to be obedient. And
I just have to be obedient. Because there's things that he sent me to and told me, He sent them and I'd be like, yeah, no, I ain't going to be. And then I've prayed for jobs that I really, really wanted. And he said, no. And he's allowed me to even get the job, but then I don't do the job. When COVID hit, I had COVID. I had long-term COVID. I was one of those. I have a long hauler and almost died. My lungs, it was a heart. It would not come out. It took almost 6 months for it to come out of my system. And finally, when it came out of my system, it was like from March, April, May, July. It was right at 5.5, 6 months before it got out of my system. I was in my room quarantined without my children, because I didn't want my children around me. And I was on the internet. You know, all I had was Instagram. You know, all of us had but Instagram. We were living our best life, everybody's life. And I remember following this guy. I still follow Wilson. And he do all the, talk about the black films and stuff and different way we impact film and the things that are coming out. It's just his page. He's just an amazing media guy. And I seen Women of the Movement. And that was the first projection of Emmett Till's mom, Mamie Till's life. And I was like, my God, they're finally, coming from the South. We know Emmett's story. A lot of people didn't really know the details, but my grandma was very diehard about it. We know the sundown towns. We know the whole certain areas in the guy area. You want to stay on this side of the river. Don't get caught over there. So I knew Emmett's story, and I was like, but I hate that a lot of people don't do our stuff right. Have everybody talking about the wigs and all the stuff. I was like, man, I would love to do this. Because I would love to honor this. I said, I know you have a plan for me. I said, but if you don't mind, I would like to do this. So I really want to honor this family. Because I want to make sure that this is authentic. Next day, strolling, rolled up on emancipation. And I was like, let the right person do it. Next day, strolling, on Wilson page again. Woman King. Dude, I'm like, Lord, I really would like this. But I know I asked about the mother too. Okay, Lord. You're right. If it ain't me, pick the right person. I left it alone. Ain't think about him no more. Finally got it out of my system. Got a call. They were able to allow us to still work with the mask, all that. Got a call to come to Shreveport. I haven't worked in Shreveport in years. Came to Shreveport to do a small Christmas movie. Wendy Raquel was the lead, and I came to do it. And I remember being on there. I got a call. I don't know if you ever heard of a TV show called The Umbrella Academy.
I don't think I heard of it.
It was off Netflix. It was a big fantasy-like show. Okay. So I was excited about it because, being quarantined, I watched everything on Netflix. Yeah. So I knew about the show. They offered me the most money I had ever wanted to get ever in my whole entire career. So I was just like, how do these people get my information? So I'm just like, God, you're amazing. Took the job, and I was just like, okay. They said Canada, though. I was like, I don't like being cold. I took this job because I want this money. I want this opportunity because it was a big one. This was the type that can get you, recognized on another level. Yeah. So I was like, okay, God, you sent it. And I was like, okay. But that's Canada, though. So I kept trying to convince myself about Canada. I was like, but I don't like snow.
Coming up with all the reasons.
I was like, oh. And they wanted me to go 6 months. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll do this. I was like, okay, but I didn't tell the man I'm do it. Okay. Months passed, so I get another job that I didn't know there was going to be. It's called Cop Shop. So I had to end up doing it with Gerard Butler. I remember that one. And did that one. And I remember still wrestling with the fact that I might be going to Canada next year in January.
They're going to pay you enough. You get
zero. And I'm like, Lord, I don't know if I really asked you about these. Because I didn't. I just reacted.
Okay.
And that's what was worrying me.
Yeah, so that makes sense now. That's why you kept going back and forth, because this wasn't one of the ones that you reacted. Okay, gotcha.
Because even when they sin, I know the enemy sins too.
Especially if the money, you said the money was more than you had ever made.
He was dingling. I was like, oh. So when I got to New Mexico, because we shot in Atlanta, but we had to do the exterior stuff in New Mexico. And I remember my agent called and he was like, I really, really want you to come now. It's 10 months. I said, 10 months. And COVID's still around. I was like, no, I ain't going. I said, no, Lord, that's a wrap. I said, you ain't got to, I don't even know what I had said. I don't know if you trying to be funny or you trying to make me know, but I ain't finna go. And my grandbaby was little. I was like, COVID was still going. Your boy was just getting him out. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't know if I want to do that. And my friend of mine, she was going to be my key. And she was like, I don't think I said, bet. That's a wrap. I said, I'm walking away. I said, I'm going to walk away. I said, and I hit them, and I told the guy, thank you for the opportunity. But my family I was concerned about my family. My son was going through stuff. I was like, nah, 10 months in a country where the regulations of COVID was even twice as severe. Yeah. I was like, I mess around and do something and can't get back home, or they shut down the borders, all that kind of stuff. I said, and then I just sat in and I was like, man, I would have made this kind of money right here. I was like, Lord. He ain't say yeah, he ain't say no.
You started like, God, please tell me yes on this.
I was like, okay. I said, well, I don't have a job now, so it's just what it is. If it's meant for me, God, it'll come back. If not, it would not. 3 days later, got a call. I got an email. Guess what it was for?
It was one of the ones you asked for.
Women of the Movement.
See? That was the first one you asked for.
And it came first.
So
take the job, one of the hardest I've ever done. Because they literally, I had 4 days of prep. When you that kind of movie, you're supposed to get at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I had 4 days.
So it was expedited. You had to get in there and make it happen.
So I'm working, I'm into like a month and a half, almost 2 months in at this point. Get another email. Mind of my business. Remember I told you I forgot about it. Hey, Mama, we got this film called Emancipation. We would like to talk. I pulled over. I said, I know you lie. I told my son, I said, read this. I said, please. Because when I left to go to do Women of the Movement, it was in Mississippi. We did it in the actual city. We literally passed by the store every day, almost the store that it happened. All the things we shot. It was a scene where they felt like that's where it actually happened, where they threw his body. Okay. Like we shot in the courthouse. It was an emotional.
All authentic. Yeah.
It was authentic. And I get that call, I pulled over, and I said, read it. And he said, Mama, they want you to do this film called Emancipation. My son ain't know what it was. I knew what it was. Mm-hmm. I hollered. I jumped, called the guy back. I said, yes, sir, I'm interested. I'm like, yeah, we got your name from a guy, one of our producers. And he said, you the guy, girl to call, and this and that. Would you be interested? But coming to Mississippi to do the job, Holy Spirit said, why are you some books, 1800s? I never done the 1800s. Emancipation, 1800s.
He was preparing you, telling you how you need to get prepared.
Didn't know, because I'm like, you know what? Because I started teaching at that point. I was like, you know what, God, you're right. I need to really start developing. So I started ordering books, trying to get myself, pictures and getting into it. I was like, you just never know. Get the email. I was like, and it was the last book that I ordered. Came that same day. I got the same email. Got the job. I was like, I got it. So I'm excited. So I get through Women of the Movement. We get it done. So I head to Emancipation, just like I prayed for it. We get there, we start shooting Emancipation. Here come that hurricane. Remember that big old hurricane came, turned us out. We had to stop shooting for a month. And we get back to New Orleans, we shooting, get an email. The same director that was on Women of the Movement for the first episode, she was the director for Woman King. Mm-hmm. Like I prayed it.
Yep.
I asked for Women of the Movement, asked for Emancipation, asked for Woman King. And it all came to me.
It all lined up.
I wanted to make all of them authentic, and they all came. But I didn't get to do Woman King because of that. But God let me know that it was yours, but I need you over here. That's how I ended up getting Oscar shortlist as well.
Yeah.
But we had to make sure that story was told properly, even though, other things happened. But it was meant to be, because that was the first time that that narrative was told as well. And when I went to the academy to get the opportunity to stand on the stage, I was just like, I'm standing by this Oscar trophy, like, oh my God, I'm in the building. I was just like,
part of that.
And I was so excited because the guy that was over the academy didn't know who he was while I was talking to him. I was just telling him the different things, and he even invited me to go to the museum and to send some stuff and all the things. And I was just like pinching myself. I was just like, Lord, I would never thought being a little girl from Shreveport to even have these opportunities to be able to be in these rooms, coming from a girl that was looking at her keys talking about I'm finna get in my car.
Yes, and
go.
When you think about that now,
man,
think of how close you were to a snap decision when that happened.
And it was so amazing because God said, I'm going to provide for you.
Yeah.
Either way. But you have to choose. Are you going to follow and listen to me? Or are you going to listen to yourself? Because by ownership, you're God's children. And his provision, he's the father that's going to take care of his children. But
exactly.
You choose. And I said, wow, I'm so grateful that I had it, enough in me to know that I just need to stand on God's principles and just go with the flow. And that's how I operate even to this day. Because even the same director for Woman King was the director that asked me to go to my movie that I just did in South Africa this year.
Really?
She said when she got the opportunity to do this one, and this is the first Black fantasy film with a number of African Americans in it, I was just shocked that she said that when she got it, called, and when she accepted it,
she knew
said,
she wanted you.
I popped in her head.
She
I just so happened to be in LA for a friend's funeral, and that wasn't Color Purple because, you know, the strike had happened and we couldn't go to no nothing because, you know, they shut down everything. But when they opened it back up, when the strike was over, Color Purple was the first time that they did their tour of showing, you know, advertising, doing marketing and all the things. I just so happened to be in LA for a friend's funeral, and a costume friend, she was like, Mona, you might can get tickets, and I got it. And I was like, man, I got a chance to go see the movie because that was my first time seeing it. And Oprah, everybody was there. Halle Bailey, everybody was there, and I was so excited. So I get up to try to go to the stage to see them and say, hey, because I had seen Fantasia and the director behind the curtain. They were like, Mo, hey. But as I'm walking up, guess who I run into? The director for Woman King. We almost bumped heads.
Okay.
And she was looking at me crazy, and she was like,
talk about crossing paths.
And she was like, Mona, what you doing in LA? I was like, for a funeral. And I said, yeah, but I came to see Color Purple. She said, you worked on? She said, of course you worked on Color Purple. Of course you was part of this. This was amazing. She was like, the reason why I'm looking at you crazy because you just popped in my head yesterday because I got something coming. And I was like, just call me. So by the time I got there, they had already pulled everybody back. And I was like, man. But then full circle now, we just finished it. And I went to LA to teach my first classes with the NAACP. Went to an event that I just seen online. And guess who would end up being there? The director again. So we in the same building again. And I ran up to the stage. I said, and she the same director that did Love and Basketball.
Oh, that's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes, she did that with me, and she was like, and when I was like, Gina, and she was like, I know that voice. She came, she was like, oh, what you doing? And we just had the best, and I was like, full circle moments. It always come back, and it just let me know that I be being in the right places at the right time. It's just amazing how.
I'm just in awe because everything that you're talking about, it always reminds me of. I tell people. You know, nowadays people always say life is life, and life is life. And what has come to me the past few weeks is that life is all about choices, right? Like you said, I can open doors, but we still got to make the choice to walk through them.
Yes. And
so what I've come to accept is that life is about making the choices that are going to lead you to the consequences that you want. Because like you said, in that moment, you could have made the choice of, hey, I'm going to get in the car, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
Right? Or even fast forward, I'm going to take this opportunity to go to Canada, make more money than I thought I'd ever make, missed out on everything else that God had lined up for you. Yeah. And so that's where the thing about it is we have to have that accountability that, hey, God's going to put it out there for me, but I got to be patient and listen to be able to hear if this is really from him, right? And that's when everything will line up the way it's supposed to.
Yes, it will.
And I've always felt like if God is in it, it doesn't matter how complex or how complicated it might appear to most people. God will make it where it just
simple. It's gonna shift itself, and that doesn't negate the fact of things can get hard. Just like when you say life be life, because I say life be life, but I say God be guiding
all the time. Yes,
because if we allow the lesson that we need to learn to manifest itself, because like I was telling a young lady the other day, I said, you want to do all these positions and all of this. I said, but God, you have to, remember back in the day, you used to have 4A and 4B, 3, 5A, all those. I said, people want to go to different levels, but there are things that you have to fundamentally learn from a spiritual point of view, from an emotional point of view, and a physical point of view, before you can go to that next level of things. And God, what I've learned in my life, God is an amazing test taker. Oh, yeah. He will make you take that test over.
And you're going to keep getting confronted by the same test until you pass.
Different people, same test until you pass.
Yep.
But what I've learned from that is that he loves us that much that he makes you get it before you can go to that next level is because anytime you have a hole in your foundation, eventually it's going to cave in. And why put me in a position to make me fall? Why not put me through it to understand and get all of what I need to be forward? Because that's why I was listening to a guy today. A lot of people I feel like are in these positions because you have not passed the test. And me and her was laughing and talking, a good friend of mine, and I was telling her that. I was like, girl, you ain't passed 4A. I said, we had these conversations a little while ago. I said, I'm sorry, but I got to tell you, the reason why you ain't went there because you ain't passed the test. You keep going and connecting to these same people that you don't like because God is asking you to be compassionate. He's asking you to be understanding. He's asking you to get out of there. neck rolling. I said, but you want to be somebody's leader too. You're talking about your boss. You know, she may not be the best boss.
Yeah.
But you have to get past that, because when you be the boss, they're going to come for you too.
Exactly.
I don't care if you are the best.
Exactly.
They're going to come for you because you're the best.
All day long.
I said,
all day long.
God is getting you to understand these scenarios and going through these processes. I said, because think about it. We on set, normally the average set is between 12 to 18 hours for a hairstyle. Because we're the first ones in, we're the last ones out. I said, and it's only 24 hours in a day. I said, and you think this is about making money and having an opportunity. No, God is teaching you character. Because in one day, if it's even 15 hours, the other, you still got to sleep between 6 to 8. Do the math. How is he going to develop your character? You're at work all the time, so guess what? Your work.
That's what the character going to be developed at work. People that you don't want to deal with.
Exactly. And this is how, like I just said, people that were housewives, you at home, home my church. Guess what? Your character is going to be developed because you're at home. This is how he builds us, because we have purpose. Mm-hmm. And in order for you to go to these different levels and to be able to be in these different things, you have to have a certain type of character development internally. Your spiritual man has to be developed, because if you don't, you're going to get mollywopped every time, and you're not going to be able to stand the trials, because the trials come to strengthen you, but the trials also come to perfect you. They also come to develop you. So what phase are you at is wherever God has you. Mm-hmm. But you have to respect it where it's at. Does it always feel good? No. Because I know from us being athletes, we being out there on that court in practice, that's the worst time. But when you get on that, think about them suicide.
It's easy.
Because it's easy now. Because you've been out there, you've been developed.
Yep.
And a lot of times people don't want to do the development. They just want to be in the moment. Mm-hmm. But what about that development? I respect the development, because I think being an athlete helped me get that concept a little bit easier than most. Because I know if you are how you are in practice, it's definitely how you're going to be in a game. I've seen it for myself. So that's why I always execute. If I'm going to take a job, I apply that with everything. If I'm going to be the best mother, I need to be learning things. I need to be supportive. I need to have the resources. I need to be doing the things to be able to make sure if I'm a best hairstylist, okay, I need to have the best tools. I need to have classes. I need to do class, all the things. You have to develop. So when you're in these lanes, you're operating in the top of your game. But people be really wanting.
They want shortcuts.
Man.
They either want shortcuts or they want somebody to give them something. I remember working at one place and there was an opportunity for a promotion, and I got bombed out because I applied and I didn't get an interview. Actually, they called and they wanted me to interview. Mm-hmm. And one of my supervisors or managers came to me a couple of days beforehand. And he just told me, he pulled me to the side. He said, hey, man, he's like, I just want to tell you. He was like, they're going to interview you. He said, you can go through with the interview if you want to. He said, but they already made a decision on who they're going to hire. So I was kind of bummed out, like, man, how are they going to waste my time? He said, let me explain something to you. He said, if you want to go through with the interview process just so you can get a feel for what it's going to be like, have at it. He said, but this is what I want you to understand. He's like, you're good at what you do now. He said, but I'm going to be 100% real with you. He was like, you're not ready for that position. He said, and if you take that position, if you were to get it, it's going to do more harm to you than it would if you were ready. He put something in my head that stuck with me. When that man told me, he said, the only thing worse than not getting an opportunity is getting an opportunity you're not ready for. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what?
And that's true.
Because if I'd had that opportunity, I wasn't ready, it would have messed me up for everything in the future.
Because that's going to follow you.
Yeah.
And not only going to follow you in the asset, in the concept of you not fulfilling the job, but also internally. You would have had so much self-sabotage. Like, you would have been wrestling through so much other stuff too. It matters, because I know that too well. You spoke a whole lot. Because I tell people that all the time. I wouldn't take like the lead positions for years, because I kept saying, I ain't ready, Lord. I ain't ready. I'm good. I can just do that. I'm just going to do background. I'm good. And he just kept telling me, no, it's time. And I was like, no, I'm good. And it got to the point where he said, okay, you know what, Mona, you're right. Stay right there. And then people started taking credit for what I did. And I'm mad. He was like, oh, no, don't get mad.
You said you good. You good.
No. Remember? I said, no. And then that's when God told me, he said, I'm not asking you to go to other levels for you. You are connected to the doors that's going to open up for other people that want to do this too.
Come on now.
And I said, oh. And then that's when I realized that I'm a part of somebody else's blessing too.
Absolutely.
And then that's when I took that and then started really walking into it and I was like, okay, well, Lord, whatever you say. Because I was scared of the title. Because I was like, I don't have to have a title. Because I ain't never worried about no title. I feel like
you like me when it comes to the title. The thing about it, though, is when you were saying that, I think about the Holy Spirit spoke to me a few years ago and put this in me and said, so many people are holding up other people's blessings because we won't walk in the purpose that God created us for. And so what I tell people now, if I come across somebody and they're complaining about, oh, I don't like this job I'm doing, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I ask them, if you're getting up every day doing the same thing day in and day out, strictly out of obligation, you're selfish. Because the very thing that you're complaining about, somebody else is somewhere praying for that opportunity.
Yeah.
You're holding them up from their purpose because you won't walk in yours.
Yeah.
So you're holding up a spot that is meant for somebody else. You've been in it long enough. It's time for you to move on. But you won't step out and move. So now you got a log jam where they can't get into the spot that they're praying for.
And it makes a difference. And I promise you, when he showed me that, I was like, I never would have thought I would have been leading no major departments. But I was doing it.
Yeah.
I was already doing it. And when he revealed that to me, I was like, you know what, you're right. But that's why I can go day play, which is just go and do a day here, day play. I can go get in a position, a third position, a key position, or the department head, and I operate and navigate well because I get it. Because sometimes I need to be a day player to meet this person, to talk to this person, to encourage this person, for that person to see me do what I do, to be able to lead them. And they was like, oh, she was the hair designer on Emancipation, but she back here with me. Wow, that give me, the type of motivation to know that I can even inspire. Because if she come back here, that means what I'm doing. Because a lot of times people downplay too what they do because other people would tell you, oh, you're just that little job or that little business. Wear me out. It wears me out. Oh, that little podcast or that little.
Everything started off small.
Everything is.
Everything is. Exactly. When you think about it, it is. It actually is. It is.
If it's not for you, does not mean that it's not big for somebody else.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter what you think. It's about you getting it out of you and getting it out. So who it needs to bless,
it'll bless.
It'll bless.
Exactly. Oh, we about to shout up in there. We about to shout. So you've done so much throughout your career already, and now you've started Mona B Productions.
Yes.
Tell me about
Mona
that.
B Productions is the first realm of it. It's going to be several parts of things. Right now, we're just producing fundamental training for TV and film. My goal is to partner with, I've met with the commission and stuff here, is to bring that attribute to the city for local people in Louisiana and in Texas can really be able to learn how set works. Remember, I was telling my story of how I didn't know how to work and how Forrest pulled me to the side. I want to be a Forrest Whitaker to people where I can bring the top tier people that I've met over the years and have relationships with come into our cities and do trainings. And
teach the next generation.
Teach the next generation because if we don't teach, then it's going to die.
Yeah.
And to make it strong and build the infrastructure in Shreveport, build the infrastructure in Dallas, Baton Rouge, wherever. But just sparking that spark in upcoming filmmakers.
Okay.
And God showed me that just doing hair classes. And then he said, well, no, I want you to do classes. And I was like, okay, well, I'll add this one. Then it's like, no, I said class. And I'm like, well, okay. Then I said, oh, God, you're telling me do them all.
Do them all.
But I don't have to teach. I said, oh, I wouldn't get them. I'm so busy just trying to see where I line up because I'll be trying to make sure I'm in the right spot. But now I'm starting it to be able to have every type of class, every type of position on the back of the call sheet and in the front because I'm even bringing actors to come in and do acting classes, directors. I'm going to have producers classes. We're going to have funding classes. We're going to have PA class, anything that's associated, lighting, scripts. Transportation, anything that's associated with filmmaking, we're going to be able to have fundamental classes set up for people to take. But eventually, producing and developing my own TV shows under my production company and partner with a couple people, because I'm writing now as well. And yeah, that's where we at right now. But it's going to be phases of Mona B Productions. I love it. They're pushing me out of this conference. God is just scooting me on out. But we got some stuff that's actually going to be coming up, because I just partnered with LSU doing the film prize, and we did actual training. I had some of my great colleagues come up and do a class. We did a hands-on in front of people, question and answer. And we developed some people off Lovecraft because I worked on Lovecraft Country, and had a special effects young lady come and show how to do the different apparatuses. Makeup artist that worked on Sinners. She did the beauty part. I did the hair. My other cousin, Crystal, she did the hair. We had Wendell Riley from Robinson Film Center. He came over because he did the animation with Boombots. He talked about the producing aspects and things. And I had a set designer to come up and talk about. He did set design for Wakanda and Sinners as well, and talk about his journey of just being an everyday carpenter, and took his skills, and now he's building sets for TV and film. So those are the types of things we're going to be bringing in, real people, be able to do real classes to be able to spark and inspire and get prepared if, things spark, like the film commissioner wants. Back in this era, we have people that's ready. I
love it. Yeah, that is preparing them for the opportunity before the opportunity.
Yes, you have to be prepared because this business. You remember I told you I was blinking and crying, and because how film work, they don't have time to teach you.
Yeah,
they don't, and it's very high paced and fast paced, and people can get hurt too sometimes when they don't know information, especially handling equipment, handling machine. People can really get hurt, and then they have like explosions, all kinds of stuff. It all depends on the film, but I feel like knowledge is definitely the key for anything. I don't care what it is, but that's when I wanted to bring back to the city, because I see that, they're inviting 50 in, they're inviting other talks with Universal and different companies to try to bringing film back to Shreveport and Louisiana as a whole, because we got our incentive never stop, but the way they got it set up now, they're really pursuing more to come back. But film and TV have really shifted across the board, from streaming and all the things. But I'm just trying to help somebody help themselves, because God did it, because it was freely given to me. Mm-hmm. So I really want to be able to give back, especially to my city, because I know we have some talented people this area, but also in Texas, because that's where I'm going to reside as well, be between both of the two. So we're going to see.
I'm looking forward. I know you're going to do great things. You already have.
Oh, thank you.
You've already done so much. So I got two more questions that popped in my head. One, what would you tell that little 10-year-old girl that's looking at Mona and thinking, I want to do what she's doing?
I would tell any young lady to stay true to what God is speaking, because God spoke to me young, and I just feel like the younger you are, the way the references in the Bible always say, come as a child. Mm-hmm. I feel like the spark is already in us when we're born, and the things that we see and know, sometimes things in life kind of try to put it out. Stay true to what you know your heart is telling you, and to pursue it even if you don't see it in the touching physical realm of things. Because for me, I knew I was going to be doing. I knew it. I used to tell my mom, she's like, you're 3 years old telling me what you're going to be doing. I'm like, what is this little girl talking about? Because my mama didn't believe it, because she buried her dreams. I just hate when people bury their dreams, because I buried mine. Baby, he did that thing back. He brought that thing, that shovel, because I believe. And where you put your faith in is going to change. I would tell a little girl to stay true to her heart and stay believing in what she see outside of the physical realm.
Okay. Love it. Success is defined by different things.
Yes, my definition.
What's your definition of success?
And you know what's so crazy? When I seen the title of your podcast, I got tickled, because I always ask that in my class. What is your definition of success? Because I be wanting my students to know that everybody have a different definition.
Exactly.
My definition of success is being true to yourself. It's not about money. It's not, because money is a tool, and I'm grateful that I was taught that young. So when it comes, it comes. When it goes, it goes. And I'm not afraid. I don't get waved by it when it goes. Because I done had some money and I done spent some money. But being true to myself and being able to allow myself to evolve and develop and to be the best version of Mona B, that's successful to me. Because it takes a lot sometimes for people to even get up from things that you didn't even cause. Like, that's why as parents, it's so key for us to really understand our children and their development and being very rooted in that and making sure that they get pushed in those ways that they want. I done spent some money on my children. I'm just ready for the Lord to find you.
So that return on investment.
Yes, Lord. But I know there are some confident young men because they've had, I ain't telling, because my mama tried to make me go to college, and I knew I wasn't trying to go to college. Yeah. But she always put me in artsy stuff. Yeah, it was like, you ain't gonna make no money. You ain't gonna do this. Girl, them people ain't gonna do this. And then and I'm like, well, why you put me in this stuff? Because you liked it.
You want to express yourself, but they find a job.
But why wouldn't this, can't this be a job? Why this can't? And I remember when I first started doing hair, she was like, hair's for flunkies. There's for people that don't want to go to college, because she's an educator. And I'm like, Mama, when you go to college, sometimes you're spending money to go make money. If I can make money without spending money, I feel like I'm doing right.
I love it.
That's why you go to college, to make money, right? I said, so if I'm making money, how am I not on a good path? You're right. It was when I did a movie that she liked, which was Color Purple.
She was like, baby, you finally doing something.
I finally hit it. She was like, Mom, you work out with us. I said, Mama, you do know Great Debater was produced by Oprah, and she was on set with us. And but see, you ain't have pictures. You got pictures.
Yeah, the mama, it don't matter. If you ain't got no pictures, that didn't really happen.
That didn't really happen. Yeah. Success to me is just being my authentic self and allowing myself to be able to evolve and develop every day. Become the best version of myself.
You definitely are successful.
Yes.
I know you said that it's all about, for you, success is being proud of yourself. I'm proud of you.
Oh,
I can tell you I'm proud of your classmate. So if people are trying to get in touch with Mona B,
they can reach me on Instagram and Facebook are my two go-tos. Andrea Mona B on Instagram and Mona B Productions. And on Facebook, Andrea Mona Bowman is the whole dynamic of the name. But if you want to reach out, you can inbox me. And yeah, I'm very approachable. Life questions, whatever, film questions.
Again, I'm so appreciative, and I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And still to come sit down and talk to me.
Of course,
I always love our people together. It always was me. So yeah, I'm gonna keep looking out for bigger and better things for you.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna network and make some things happen. Shreveport, hometown. I might as well get ready. We got more and more stuff coming, but we're going worldwide. So again, Anna, I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'm looking for the best coming.
Yes.
All right.
God bless.
See you guys next week.